Indeed.
Sure. So, hi everyone. I'm MrTyton, and this is Fire Emblem Awakening. Mostly any percent. So, just gonna do a quick avatar setup here. It doesn't necessarily matter what you choose for any of these things at all, as long as your character is female with plus magic and minus defense. So, no. Good. Hungry. Percent. And magic defense. So timing is going to start when I hit save here. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start. Alright, so this is Fire Emblem Awakening. I'm doing this mostly as any percent. There's a few things that I'm going to do differently because we're in a marathon to make it look nicer. We're going to show combat animations, and we are not going to skip any actions. Just because it makes it a much, much nicer one to actually watch. Oh, that's not the one that I wanted to show. And that was actually really nice. Alright, so what is Fire Emblem Awakening? Fire Emblem Awakening is a 2D top-down tactical RPG. All of the battles happen on a 2D grid, and we have our characters that we can control, and the enemy has theirs that they can control. Oh, that is not the setting that I wanted. And I need to remember to stop skipping past everything. Sorry. So unfortunately, this is a Fire Emblem game. There is a lot of RNG involved, especially early on. So in this chapter here, as I'm starting the mechanics, I am going to reset if I don't get at least 1 point of magic and 1 point of speed, just because otherwise we're going to die in the next chapter. Okay, yeah, there we go. So how does this game work? Every character has their own set of stats, and... Sorry. Every character has their own set of stats, and the stats all determine how the characters perform in battle. The important ones that we care about are primarily going to be magic and speed. Magic determines how much we do with tomes, which is going to be Robin's primary form of combat, of attacking everything. Speed is going to determine how well we get to double hit things. If you have more than 5 speed over the opponent, then you get to attack twice, which is great because we get to hit them more. And you might also be noticing that we're just leaving Robin attached to Chrom all by herself. Alright, that's the point of speed. That's good enough to continue. So, this run is essentially just going to be a Robin destroys the world run. We're going to be sending her off by herself in basically every single chapter, and she's just going to kill every single person that we run into. There's a few other things that are going to happen during the run that I do because in the normal any percent, it ends up skipping like dialogue or actions or things like that, but because I'm showing all the animations, it doesn't actually make a difference here, so I'll call that out when it happens. This chapter is really rough, but so one of the things that I'm doing in basically every single chapter is I'm pairing Chrom to Robin. So like a lot of the other Fire Emblem games, this game has a buddy system where by pairing one character to another, the character gets additional stats. You get the ability to sometimes have the ally attack along with you, and you gain increased dodge chance, so you just don't get hit as much depending on what the ally that you're pairing to, what the support level is between the two of them. We are not actually going to be doing a lot with the support level at all in this run. We're going to be doing exactly one support conversation because, you know, it's extra dialogue, they're slow, and we have a way to cheat our way to a higher support rank for later. But one of the most important things that we're going to be getting throughout the run is actually just going to be movement speed from pairing Frederick to Robin. Basically the entire time, with the one exception, we're going to be pairing either Crom or Fred to Robin, just because Crom's going to give the best stats, but Frederick gives movement speed. And movement speed's kind of king, because a lot of the game is going to be positioning us in the right spot, so that all the enemies just kind of run into us and you know, shank themselves on our lightning bolt tomes. So this is actually going pretty well so far, aside from, you know, when I made a few mistakes. We also are going to be making heavy use of the auto ability, which, as you saw right there, we can set different characters to essentially have pre-programmed AI. Most of the time, we're only going to be setting Robin to having doing anything at all, really. The other times, we're gonna be setting everybody to. Oh, I'm at full HP. That's gonna make that a bit weird. So other times we're gonna be setting people to blitz, but we don't actually want most characters to be doing things, because that's slow and they're gonna be stealing our precious experience, which is not precisely what we want. Our goals EXP wise are by chapter 7 to get to level 20, and then by chapter 8 to get to level 10, and then by chapter 14 we should be at level 14 with 91 experience. This is the one chapter in the run that we're actually not going to be pairing either Crom or Frederick. And it's the first time that we're removing weapons from an ally. Like I said, we're going to be pairing up a lot of people. And your ally, and whoever you're paired to, has a chance to attack as well. But if they attack, then they can get experience, and if they get experience, then they get level up, and if they level up, then that's really slow because it's a lot more animations and stuff, and we want to avoid that as much as we can. So we do that by removing the weapon from the person who is paired with us, and if a character doesn't have a weapon, well, they can't attack, and hopefully we don't die here. Sweet, we didn't die. We also get another additional advantage to pairing up, in that Robin has an ability that just gives her more experience. It just gives. I shouldn't have skipped there. It gives her more experience the more that, you know, she fights with people next to her. So that's always a nice thing to have. Unfortunately, so in order to make the next chapter a lot easier, it would have been really nice to get 15 magic and 11 speed, but we didn't get it, so it's okay. We just don't get to remove Crom's weapons here. But anyways, plot-wise, so a lot of things have been happening, and we've just kind of been skipping all of it, because if you've been looking at this game for plot, well, you're at this run for plot, well, you're kind of in the wrong spot. Every single cutscene is skippable. We are Robin, an amnesiac tactician who's been discovered in a field. And we have been fighting with Crom and his family, who are the heads of the Shepherds. And the Shepherds are essentially a military organization that is going around trying to protect, you know, the country. But we're being invaded by zombies and also by Plagia, who is another country who our father kind of like committed a genocidal crusade against 20 years ago before any of this started, and they're not happy about it. So, yeah, they're not happy about it, and we are trying to rally up another country to our aid, and they wanted us to fight against Marth. And Marth is, well, we're not entirely sure who Marth is, but we know that they were kind of going and helping us before when all the first zombies showed up. Since chapter 4... What? Dad? No. This is a completely random person that we have no idea who they are. I'm gonna remove this here. So... What was the other thing I was gonna say? Right. So, since chapter 4 ended, there's actually something that we're looking for, which is an Anna spawn. Annas are special shopkeepers. If one of them doesn't spawn with a second seal, then we get to New Game Plus stuff. But, anyway, so this chapter here is all the beginning chapters have been route the enemy chapters, which means that we have to destroy everyone that shows up. And this is especially important in this chapter, because this chapter introduces the concept of reinforcements. If we don't kill everything by the end of turn 5, then more enemies spawn. And that is not great, as you can imagine, because that's really slow. And we don't want to deal with that. So, a lot of this chapter is just luring the enemies into the right spot so they just all run into us, and making the nice use of the auto so that, you know, Frederick and Sully end up cleaning everybody up. So hopefully everything dies right here, and we don't have to reset. So these two should run themselves into us. And voila, done. See? Ended perfectly there. Our sets are actually like really nice for this point on the run so far, which is really sweet. Always a good feeling. And it's looking like we're gonna have to New Game Plus this, because nothing seems to be spawning. But anyways, now we've got a assassin attack on our sister. That we also find out that Marth is apparently a girl, even though this whole time everyone's been thinking that you know, she's a he. But people are very, like, it's actually kind of funny. Chrom is incredibly blind in this game. But yeah, so this is another route the enemy chapter. There's a lot of enemies here, and also this person that we definitely could have recruited, but we don't care enough. So just bye guys. There's a lot of enemies here, and importantly, they have their sort of end boss, the captain, all the way at the bottom that we've got to make our way down to. So movement in this chapter is going to consist of primarily two things. One is we're going to be moving Robin and Chrom all the way down here. And then we're going to be moving Fred and Panay so that, you know, the right things run into them and we don't have to worry about, like, things being cleaned up. If we didn't actually send Fred off to block that staircase and instead just immediately autoed, Fred would have gone all the way to the side, Panay would have ended up there, and Panay would have likely died, and dying is slow and will also mess up a lot of things, because, you know, it turns out things are, like, pretty precise here. There's also in the normal any percent, like, we don't do any saving at all. Any time that you see me reset is actually just like a run over. I have 717 attempts and only 7 completed runs. So not the highest completion rate that you could have. Frederick looks like he's low there. I have complete faith. He's not gonna die. If he does die, that's really bad, but he won't. See? Easy. Not even close. And this is Valfar. He's a bad guy, but we're not entirely sure what the deal is with him. But it'll become apparent soon enough. Yeah, so our stats are actually like really good by this point. We need minimum 14 or 12 strength before the next chapter so that we can make everything like actually work. So we're in chapter 7 now. There's no Anna spawn, so we are going to use these are renown awards, which are basically like benefits that you get for having completed the game once. It's New Game Plus. We're using it to get a second seal because every character in the game has a unique class for them. And this is a rather large menu, so just give me a second. So every character has a unique class in them, but you can have people change classes. And we're going to be changing Robin to the Pegasus Knight class. Pegasus Knights are flying units, which is really nice because flying units just get to ignore terrain, they get to move really far, and it's pretty powerful. And since, again, we are mostly concerned with getting Robin into the right spot so that everything happens well. The fact that we get to move further is a real boon. There's a few things that come with this though. One is we can't actually use our tomes anymore, which is a bit awkward, because we're right now restricted to just single attacks. Another is that we are now very, very weak to bowmen and these sort of ranged attacks, and unfortunately this chapter has a lot of them. So hopefully they all be very nice and they don't kill us. This is another reinforcement chapter, so we don't actually have the ability to like heal and do safety strats before 2 turns from now, really, which is awkward. But the good thing is that our defense is really high, especially that was a lot of damage there. All right, so I was gonna say it's good that our defense is so high, but then the archer decided that no, we're just gonna be in some pain. So we get to do one of the backup strats here. No. And we also get Cordelia. Cordelia is going to be another flying unit. We're going to be using her quite a bit. So hopefully we don't die. Alright, nice. We survived. So we get over here. Normally, considering how that archer like dealt us the damage, we would have moved such that all of the commander and stuff would have aggroed us the turn before, but considering how low we were, although I guess we didn't actually take any damage, so it would have worked out, but safety and all that. So we're done with that chapter, one of the largest reset points in the run. Oh, my splits are actually messed up. There we go. One of the largest reset points in the run. And now our goal in this chapter is to hit level 10. Because units, once they hit level 10, can change classes again. And that's going to be very, very good. So we're doing a bit of a unit reshuffle here. Units retain the memory of where they were. So, wait, wrong way. That way. Any changes that we make to where a unit is in the lineup is going to persist between chapters. That's useful for a few reasons. One, we don't care about most of the units, so the fact that we get to essentially prioritize the ones that we do care about is really nice. The other is that there's going to be a lot of points where units are in like just the right spot so that we can units are in just the right spot so that we like can just move to the right point, or they're just in range of each other. All that good jazz, and we like it to stay that way because, you know, not all units are created equal, and if they're in the wrong spots and they can't die on the turns that, like, they're not there. So we would like to avoid all of that. So we're going to visit this village. Going to pick up the Master Seal. We're ditching the Javelin. We'd equip the Javelin earlier in the chapter simply because it gives us a ranged attack. Makes things a bit easier. And our EXP is looking pretty good. Move here, and we should be hitting level 10 off of this enemy right here. Perfect. 24 magic at this point is pretty good. We've also just picked up the relief skill, which is actually like not a very good skill for us. It means at the beginning of each turn, if there's nobody near us, we regain HP, but that's really slow. I am going to be leaving it on for a bit longer than I would in a normal any % run, simply because of marathon safety. So, and we ditched the bronze spear before upgrading to the dark flyer because it lets us do range attacks. And what are dark flyers? So dark flyers are busted. So similar to Pegasus Knights, they are flying units, but there's a few key differences. One is that they regain the use of tomes. So we get to do our lovely, glorious magic attacks. And there's a lot of magic drops throughout, which is how we've kind of been getting all of our ammo throughout. We don't really buy anything, we just kind of rely on things showing up. The other is that Dark Flyers are going to get a very, very broken ability at level 15. It's going to be very, very strong. So, people might also be asking, why are we using Cordelia here? So, Crom is kind of weak. You know, he's level 1 or 2. Oh, right, I shouldn't be skipping this. He's level 1 or 2. Like, he doesn't have a weapon, he can't attack back. But Crom is the main character of the game. So, we do have to have him in the map, unfortunately. The way we get around this a lot of times is just by tacking him onto somebody and moving him off into the corner. And then we just kind of say, like, here, have, like, you go be there, you're gonna be babysat. We're just gonna ignore you. Oh, so here's Tharja. Bye, Tharja. Unfortunately. Like, I wish we could use Tharja, she's one of my favorite characters, but sadly we can't. We need her Elf Thunder kind of more than we need her talking to her. Yep. So, more things have been happening. Our sister's been kidnapped, and our sister's about to be dead, unfortunately. So, rip Emmerin. And now we're sort of on the run. There's like a huge war breaking out. The Mad King Gangrel is being there. Yeah, Cordelia gets to spend time with Crom, but she's not going to be very happy later, unfortunately for her. This game is very good at sort of shipping characters together, because you get to, you know, spawn future Paradox babies. Oh, great. You get to spawn future Paradox babies and have a lot of fun with that. We don't do, like, any of that. Also, I am really sorry if I do accidentally skip through some of the battles. Approximately, like, 90% of this run ends up being, like, mashing the start button. So I'm just kind of in the habit of doing that. But yeah. Emmerin sacrificed herself. and units like Plagian units who are the enemies are like deserting because they're so moved by her sacrifice that they can't decide to continue to fight in this unjust war. Oh, I should remove that. And yeah, this here's another instance of like we'd end the turn so that we would skip through all of that dialogue and we wouldn't see any of it, but because of the marathon strats and stuff here, we're just going to continue on and do that. We also just picked up Rally Movement, which is a very good skill that we're never going to see Robin use. Rally Movement essentially gives everybody around, like it turns the action to everybody getting additional movement speed. But here we go, we got Mad King Gangrel. He's a bit of a not great person, so we're gonna finally kill him. And in the last chapter, we've picked up one of the best units in the game, Olivia. Olivia is our dancer, and dancers are great because dancers let us move additional times, and it lets us just go really far across the map, like much more than we should. Oh, our thunder broke there. That's a bit awkward. So one unfortunate thing with the double hits is that it doesn't reload, or reload's the wrong word, but it doesn't continue your attack if your tome charges, if your weapon charges vanish in the middle of it. So normally that wizard, that mage that's up there would be gone. But because our thunder broke mid-combat, doesn't. Oh, wait, sorry. Boom, and there, the Mad King Gangrel's dead. We have avenged our sister. Thankfully. He doesn't serve any purpose for us. Alright, so we still kill that one. Yeah, that Spirit Dust we were supposed to kind of already have, but it's all good. This shouldn't affect our EXP route too much. So by this point, we kind of have most of the stats that we need. I really need to remember to remove that. We kind of have most of the stats that we need. The thing that we're really looking for is we're looking for at least 37 magic. And really, we're just kind of hoping for as much magic as we can get. The cap is 46. The lower that our magic is, the less our likelihood of actually being able to defeat the final boss. But we're already at 37, so that's the minimum gone, thankfully. Makes things a bit easier. Our EXP is higher than it should be. So that's a bit awkward. Alright, I can switch things around then at the next chapter. So we're going to be doing another unit shuffle here. We're not going to be using Cordelia anymore. And we are going to be moving Olivia up here. I'm also just going to check. We have 23. That should be enough. Because we're going to be getting Cherche. And Cherche, for all intents and purposes, the exact same as Cordelia, only, you know, several levels higher. And honestly, like, this chapter is kind of the best example of, hey, you know, enemies, maybe after the 30th unit has run into our face and committed Sudoku, and they haven't taken any damage or done anything, maybe we should stop. But the enemy units are just like, nah, I think I can do it. I'm the special one, character with no name and no dialogue. I can't see anything that would go wrong with this. So yeah, we show them the error, like, we show them the error of their ways. And the thing is, like, they even have a boat. They could run away, but they don't, because they just don't care enough. Apparently, they don't care about their lives, which is not great. But yeah, the rest of the chapter is well, So there is one thing that we are going to start doing with this chapter, and that is our inventory management. As has been happening a lot, enemies drop items, and we usually toss these items away, but from now on, if any of the enemies drop an elixir, which one of the enemies here will, and if any of the enemies drop booleans, or stacks of gold, we're going to be keeping them in our inventory, simply because it's going to make other menus faster later. A lot of this game is like very, very small menu and input optimizations that kind of really all add up. And it's pretty cool. Honestly, it's very fast-paced. There's not really any downtime. But, alright, 41 magic already. That's nice. I still haven't removed the relief skill. But that's okay. It's partially intentional at this point. Yeah, there are games where enemies don't attack if they don't do enough damage. Thankfully, this is not one of them. This route would not work if that was the case. There's kind of way too many enemies for us to reasonably try to kill them all in our turn. It's much easier just to let them run into ourselves. And well, that's that done. Alright, so here I'm 99% that we are going to be gaining getting to level 15 here, which is not what we want. So I'm going to do a bit of additional menuing here. We need... Hold on, I gotta pull this up. Because we need rally movement to end up being in the final slot. And the best way to do that... Oh, rally movement is the last slot because we didn't... because we never removed relief. So I guess my my never doing that actually ended up in my favor here. So if we didn't have all the characters sort of in the spots that they were right now, you would see characters dying here, which is definitely not what we want to happen. So it's one of the sort of roll-on effects of this. And we're going to kill the Risen Chief, and... Oh, we didn't actually level, so I guess all of my worry was for naught. That's good, at least. So anyways, this is actually the point where we learn a lot about the background of the game. Turns out Lucina's our daughter! From the future! Because also, I might have skipped past this, we married Crom after killing Mad King Gangrel, and the rest of the game takes place sort of 2 years later. Crom is required to marry somebody at the end of chapter 10, or 11, one of the two. And the reason that we do the support with Robin is solely to get to have her marry Crom. And the reason we do that is because the children, when they spawn, will inherit skills from their parents, and it's always the last skill. It's always the last skill that that the parents know. And Robin knows rally movement. And rally movement lets us move further, and by not getting to level 15 so that we have rally movement in the last spot, we end up teaching Lucina rally movement, and that's actually all that she's going to be useful for, is doing rally movement stuff. So we're doing a bit more inventory management here. We're going to be taking these and removing everybody else. That's not what I want there. Removing everybody else. There's also another benefit that we get to marrying Crom to Robin is that we get automatic S level support. Usually it goes the other way around. You need S level support in order to marry. Oh, I shouldn't be skipping this. You need S level support to marry, but in this case we marry, and that's how we get S level support. So why do we need Dark Flyers? Dark Flyers at level 15 learn Gale Force, and Gale Force is busted. Gale Force reads, if this unit were to kill an enemy unit, they get an extra action. They get to move again, they get to attack again. It's really good. So you see we go here, we kill that poor soul, we proc Gale Force, we move back here, and voila, we're now in a much better spot to actually be able to do everything. And it's just really good, it turns out. Yes, there are no feet for the characters' 3D models. There's actually a really funny story behind that. When they were developing this game, they didn't know how powerful the DS was going to be. The 3DS was going to be, so they weren't sure if... They were just looking for ways to cut down on the game's models and save on processing. So they did that by removing people's feet, which can make things kind of really funny to look at. It turns out that the DS actually would have been able to handle everything. But at that point, they kind of decided that it would be too much work to add the feet back in. So you got that, I guess. It's really funny if because it's not like they're hovering over the ground. It's just that their ankles intersect with the floor, and they didn't change any of the other proportions. So everything just looks a tiny bit off, which is really funny. But all right. So we've just picked up Sayri. Sayri is the sister queen of this country, whose name is escaping me. But her brother is on the bad side and is allied with Walhart, who's not a great person that we want to defeat. And from here on out is kind of when the game starts going from being primarily like route the enemy chapters to... Oh, that is not as far as I should have gone. Sorry about that. The game primarily goes from being route the enemy chapters to defeat the commander chapters, and Gale Force combined with Dancers just means that we get to go really far across the map. A really common pattern from now on is going to be move a bit, dance, move, Gale Force down one poor soul, and then go to beat the final boss there. There, right, so I was right there. Okay, I don't know why. I must have just gone one too soon. But anyway, so here's Cervantes. He's got a fantastic mustache. He's also gone. I'm gonna toss that. We have a lot more L-Fires than I'm used to at this point in the game, so that's gonna be interesting. So, anyways, we just beat the glorious mustache, and right. So Gale Force is busted. As you can see, we just zoom across the entire map. This chapter here, chapter 17, is actually like usually very, very scary. Frederick has a chance of dying here, and if that happens, well, it's kind of run over. But thankfully, there's a lot of backup strats that we can do. So we're going to shift over here, kill that fool, move here, wait, let everything run into us, etc. We kind of also just tuck Crom in the corner so that nobody messes with him. And we've hit level 20, and our final magic is 45, so that's really good. The max is 46, but in effect, there's no real difference between 45 and 46. So we're going to attack her with the Arc Thunder, move up some, switch, separate up here, otherwise that boss doesn't attack Robin, and assuming we don't miss, good. Nice. That's always a scary one there. Bunch more plot happening on. Basilio's dead now, unfortunately, and if you don't know who Basilio is, well, we skip past all of the cutscenes that described who he was. He was one of the cons that we were allying with. Pretty cool dude. I think like pro wrestler, but not fake, I guess. So now we're fighting Yanfei. Yanfei is Seiri's sister. We're about to destroy one royal family. Come on, Olivia. There we go. Move all the way across here. The poor like one person that we always end up killing on the way there. Like all the rest of the characters that are here are all fine. Like they get to go live their lives like normal. And then the one person that we kill on the way is just like I feel so bad for them. We're still not in heroes. Yeah. And there. We have killed Seiri's twin brother. Pour one out for Basilio. Rip him. He was slain by Walhart. And we shall have our revenge soon enough. Okay, the fact that we actually still have the Elfire is kind of really weird. So I'm gonna toss that just to make things a bit easier later. That beer sounds great. Alright. So here's another rally movement chapter. We're going to... No, don't pair. Slay this one unfortunate soul on our way to Walhart. And you know, for all that Walhart's supposed to be this huge conqueror and stuff like that, he doesn't even have a ranged weapon right here. He literally can't attack us at all. And that's the chapter. Nice, short and simple. It looks like we're, according to my timer, we're probably going to go like 1 or 2 minutes over estimate because of some of the resets that I did in the beginning. Alright. And this is another one of the... You'll notice me saying that like a lot of these chapters are actually really scary. It's because we actually have a pretty significant chance of dying in most of them, unfortunately. If I can get my cursor to move properly. Simply because, you know, this game has a lot of RNG, and it's kind of really awkward in that aspect of it. This chapter is especially worrying because there's a lot of longbowmen, and we're still a flying unit, so they can just decide to crit us and make our day really, really sad. But we've also killed the worm, who is an awful, awful person. It's good that they're dead. Yep. We've essentially just been invading Walhart's territory this whole time. We beat him outside his castle, now we're going to be inside the castle and destroy him here. A lot more units, but we don't care. Just going to go here, end the turn. Which summon are we using right now? Hellwind, okay. Yeah, see now he learned. Now he learned. He got a ranged weapon. Oh, please don't. Okay, cool. Boom. Dead Walhart. The Conqueror's reign is over. Yeah, poor mustache scientist. I really like Mustache Dude, Cervantes. He's a fantastic character. His mustache is glorious. I wish I had a mustache as good as that. But unfortunately, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do here. So now we're in Plagia Castle. This is another one of the random assassin can decide to completely ruin your day. And this is also one of the, oh god, please let Crom not die chapters. Because we gotta get really far.
Are you ready?
So we're just gonna shift Crom onto Sayri, tuck him in the corner. Move across the map, killing assassins as we do, because assassins can really hurt us. Alright, looks like they didn't take any damage, so that's really nice. Don't have to use any elixirs there. Also, since we've hit level 20, like, oh, that is... I should... Alright, well... Hopefully we don't die. Because I can't really use one of those elixirs right now. Alright, we're good. We're good. Never didn't have it. Never didn't have it. You know, for a run that I've done so many times, you'd think I would be less, like, worried about randomly dying in the middle of it. But I'm pretty sure I've died in literally every single possible chapter that you can.
I carry only the finest.
So this is also where a lot of our... oh, we're actually going to need more than that. So this is where our money and stuff happens. So we're going to buy an Arc Thunder here. It's the only time in the run that we end up buying magic. Simply because there isn't quite enough drops coming up for us to be able to do it. Yep. This is going to be another chapter where we would end the turn so that, like, they end it. They end things for us. But since we're doing all this anyways, that's a Versa. She's pretty sweet, honestly. Really nice enemy character. Kind of obsessed with Valadar, who, by the way, is our dad. Kind of really good that we're Amnesiac, because I don't want to imagine having Valadar as our dad. But anyways, so in case y'all think this looks a bit familiar, this is the very first chapter all over again. We had a premonition that we were gonna fight against Valadar, kill Crom, do a bunch of nasty things. It's not great. Some of that's true. We're fighting our dad and we're kind of killing Crom, but it turns out it was fake all along. Basilio's been alive this whole time. Turns out he's kind of more of a pro wrestler than we thought he was. Because, you know, everything is fake. Use the goddess's icon. Shift Flavia all the way off. Or no, silver sword for the silver axe. Shift them off to the side. And this is another route the enemy chapter, and enemy reinforcements can spawn. That's actually fine if it broke there. So we're going to be positioning ourselves such that we're still in aggro range of everything on the left side of the map, and that should let us actually kill everything in time. So just by staying here, everything on the left side should run into us and die, and then we get to go and kill everything else on the right side. Which means that reinforcements don't spawn. If reinforcements do spawn, it's not actually the worst. They are rather easy to defeat. But, you know, the less that we have to do, the better. Nice, so everything there died. Looking good. There, and kill our poor little dad. There's a lot of, like, family killing in this game, honestly, like, more than you would think would be normal. But, you know, I guess that's ooh, nice, a crit. He deserves it. He's kind of the root cause of literally every single bad event that happens in this game is because of dear old Daddy Dearest. So... Dad led Darth Valadar, yeah. And there you go, he's gone. So there's a few more chapters. Grima's respawned, by the way, and in case you don't know who Grima is, so Grima is the fell dragon of old, who was defeated 1,000 years ago, but is back. We are also Grima. Technically, we're like the reincarnation, and it actually plays into the last incentive for this run, which is how do we wish to kill Grima? So if we... I'm actually going to do a bit of safety things here. If we decide to kill Grima ourselves, have Robin do it, it's the good ending. We sacrifice Robin, but we have permanently stopped Grima, and our descendants are not going to need to worry about, having to fight a dragon in 1,000 years. If we let Crom land the final... I forgot to pair them. If we let Crom land the final blow, then, like, we're still alive. But unfortunately, our descendants are going to have to deal with things in another 1,000 years. Yeah, Marth is the one that originally defeated Grima. But because it was Marth and not Grima itself, that's why Grima's back. Sorry, I was describing the incentive. So you can pay to determine the fate of, Robin and all of our descendants. However y'all wish to go for it. So let me redo that. That was not what I meant to move there. Alright. Yeah. Solely the other thing I forgot to do is I just ended the turn. So we go here. Okay, that's not what I was supposed to do, but should be fine. Just gonna have to switch them. So here we get our last pickup for the run, which is Thorin. Thorin is a very good magic spell that we're gonna be doing some really nice things with. It's really nice that we get to pick it up here. Alright, everything died there, so that's really good. That should make things nice and simple. And we are at rather high HP, but I'm still just going to Elixir for safety. And everything should be running into us and perishing. And voila, nice, chapter done. Absolutely no problems with that. No, we can't sacrifice Robin. If Robin dies, it is game... Oh, okay, sorry. We can't sacrifice Robin in a chapter. We can definitely sacrifice Robin at the end of this run. So we're gonna forge Thorin here. We're gonna give 3 hit and 5 crit. And we are almost done. So we should probably close off the incentive now. Who is... which one's winning? Hello?
Currently looking. Give me 1 second.
Oh, good. I was really worried that it had, like, muted somehow, and I was just talking to the void.
You're good. No worries.
Alright. Also, it seems like we have killed a Versa. We definitely haven't. In the sort of like paralog chapters, which we've been ignoring every single one of them, you actually can recruit a Versa and then marry her. And it's what the setup for the New Game Plus route does. Because Morgan from Aversa is like really, really powerful. So, we're in the final chapter now. Yeah, what's the result?
Currently it is at a tie, so I guess it is tied for $0 on each, so
Oh,
I guess it is
alright.
runner's choice.
Cool. So we're in the final chapter, and you might think, all right, we've gotten all the way here. The final boss should be no problem. Like, we're super powerful. Yeah, about that. It's we actually only have like an 84% chance to kill the final boss here. It's kind of really awkward in that aspect. We're using Henry for the first time because Henry gives an aura that increases our crit and like decreases their magic resistance, so that's really useful. But we need at least one crit in order to kill Grima here, and we only have a 16% chance to crit usually. On 4 attacks, it's not great. Oh, we have a 38% chance to crit, yeah. So we need one of any of the upcoming attacks to crit. And we get 2 more additional ones because of Olivia dancing. If we don't, well, if we survive, we get another chance at it. But, alright, so that's 2 attacks down. Not looking great so far. Switch, dance. We need one of these to crit, otherwise a lot of people are gonna die. Maybe including ourselves. Alright. Alright, we got the crit. Good. Nice. It's always such a heart-wrencher, like, you get all the way to the end, you're a minute ahead of PB, and then you just don't crit and everybody dies. And no, I'm not saying this has happened to me recently. Not at all. Alright, we'll save our family. We'll save our future generations. So yeah, that's the run. A bit overestimate. Sorry about that. There were a few additional resets in there. But I hope you all enjoyed it. And that's... Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, there's a Fire Emblem speedrunning Discord if anybody is interested in any of these runs. It's a pretty great place. It's a good community. I stream on Twitch, you know, every so often, this and Final Fantasy, other stuff like that. So yeah, if you enjoyed, thank you for having me, and enjoy the rest of the marathon.